Hello guys. So today we are going to discuss about non-cyclic photophosphorylation. In photosynthesis process, the electron is passing from oxygen evolving complex to its electron receivers via two processes. One is non-cyclic photophosphorylation and another one is cyclic. Okay. So there is two processes for photophosphorylation. One is cyclic and another one is non-cyclic. Now, what do you mean by photophosphorylation? Or first we'll see about phosphorylation. What do you mean by phosphorylation? Phosphorylation means generation of ATP. This is a highly energetic molecule. It's a high energy containing molecules which is generating from ADP. When ADP is adding with one inorganic phosphate, they form ATP, adenosine diphosphate plus one inorganic phosphate. They produce adenosine triphosphate. This process is known as phosphorylation. Now, why photophosphorylation? Why photo? As we know that photo means light, right? Photo means light. Now, we know in photosynthesis process, light is the crucial requirement. This light is driven the force, okay, giving it is only exciting the chlorophyll, and while exciting electron is passing through this non-cyclic and cyclic pathway. So at the end ATP is connecting with the inorganic phosphate and generating ATP. So this phosphorylation process happens because of this light. It is known as photophosphorylation. Now, why it is non-cyclic? Non-cyclic because the donor of the electron and the receiver of the electron is totally different. The electron is donating from here to this receiver. It is not coming back to the donor. So it is not happening in a cyclic process, cyclic way. It is going from here to only to the receiver. It is not coming back. So it is a non-cyclic process. So together it is called as non-cyclic photophosphorylation process. So now we'll see how it happens. So this is also known as Z scheme, and here four important integral proteins are carrying the most important function. One is photosystem 2, cytochrome B6F, photosystem 1, and ATP synthase. These four important integral member proteins, one is photosystem 2. Photosystem 2, it is involved in oxygen evolving complex, where it is oxidize the water into oxygen in thylakoid lumen, resulting a proton release into the lumen. Okay, so proton is releasing into the lumen, and as well as one electron that is passing to the passing by other electron receivers. Okay, and from PS2 it is coming to the PS1 by cytochrome B6F complex. So PS2 giving the electron to cytochrome B6 complex. This is also integral membrane protein, and it is delivers the electron to PS1, that is photosystem 1. Now this photosystem 1, it reduces NADP positive to NADPH. As I said, this is the electron receiver, last electron receiver, and water is the electron donor. Okay, so it receives the electron NADP positive and it's converting into NADPH in the stroma. So proton is releasing into the lumen, and NADPH and ATP, this ATP synthase, now all the electrons are coming to the lumen, and stroma is containing a less proton. Because of electron, while electron is moving, then proton is coming to the lumen. Okay, and later on this ATP synthase produce ATP while passing the proton from lumen to stroma back. Okay, so we'll see how it happens. So this is the four important process for non-cyclic photophosphorylation process. So ATP as protons diffuse back into the stroma. So in lumen the protons concentration is becoming more, and in stroma NADPH and ATP is getting produced. Okay, so now this is your non-cyclic photophosphorylation overview. This is your oxygen evolving complex, which is containing 4 manganese, where water is splitting into oxygen and proton. This is like stroma and lamellae. Consider this is lumen. Here proton is releasing, an electron it is transferring to the photosystem 1. Now light is hitting the photosystem and it is getting excited. So when electron is like taken by this photosystem 1, it get reduced. So reduced, remember, reduced means something which is taking the electron or proton, and oxidized means when it release proton and electron. So this photosystem 1 is getting reduced, and oxygen evolving complex is getting oxidized. So when it get the electron, it is reduced, it goes into its highly excited state. Okay, this is excited states, and it gives the electron to pheophytin. This is pheophytin. Okay, this is giving the electron to pheophytin, and it's become oxidized form, and it is coming down its ground state. Now this pheophytin get reduced, and it gives the electron to Qa and Qb. This Qa Qb together are known as plastoquinone. Okay, so now it's getting oxidized and it's becoming reduced because it's taking the electron. As I told, reduce means taking electron, oxidation means losing the electron. So it is becoming oxidized and it becomes reduced. So this process is like one substance is becoming oxidized, another is becoming reduced, and the reduced one is becoming oxidized, it will oxidize reduce another one. So it is a like chain reaction. Okay, so now this electron from the plastoquinone, it is given to this complex. This complex is nothing but cytochrome B6 complex. What I have told here, cytochrome B6F complex. Now it's becoming reduced and it's becoming oxidized. Now this reduced form is transferring its electrons to the plastocyanine. This plastocyanine is mobile in nature. Okay, mobile means it can move from here and there. Now from the plastoquinone, the electron is given to this photosystem 1, which absorbs the light 700 nanometer and it's 680 nanometer. Okay, now it's become oxidized and it's become reduced. As soon as it's become reduced, light is hitting it, and it's going into its reduced state and as well as its excited state. Okay, this one excited state, and when it's getting reduced, it transferring its electrons to A0 and A1. This is your this one quinone, together they known as quinone. Now it becomes reduced and it's giving the electron to quinone, it become oxidized and it's coming into its ground state. Now from A0 A1, electron is transferred to this iron sulfur complex and it's become oxidized again and it becomes reduced because it's taking electron. Now this iron sulfur complex, now it will give the electron to ferredoxin. This is ferredoxin. Okay, it's giving the electron to ferredoxin and it's become oxidized. It's become oxidized because for the next cycle they are oxidizing, so it can take the electron again. Okay, so now this electron is given to the ferredoxin, and here with the help of one FNR, that is known as flavoprotein ferredoxin NADP reductase. Now this FNR, with the help of FD, it will reduce this NADP positive into NADPH. Okay, it's becoming NADPH. This is also one of our energy containing molecule. Okay, so from iron sulfur complex electron is coming to ferredoxin, and with the help of FNR, ferredoxin is converting this NADP positive into NADPH, and electron is now containing into this NADPH. NADP means nicotinamide adenosine dinucleotide phosphate, and NADPH is the reduced form, NADP positive is the oxidized form. So as you can see, from beginning to the end, the electron is generating here and it is received by the another one, but it's the electron is not coming back to this photosystem 1 or oxygen evolving complex. Okay, so this is why this is called as non-cyclic photophosphorylation process. Now, and see, this is going is like a Z, right? This is look like a Z, so it's known as Z scheme as well. Now we'll see that how it phosphorylated, means how it's generating the ATP. So I hope you understood this non-cyclic pathway Z scheme. Okay, so now proton is coming back. Sorry, proton is in the lumen, right? So everywhere on passing of electron, they will leave one electron from stroma to lumen. Remember this. Now see, this is like details picture of your non-cyclic photophosphorylation pathway. This is your membrane of thylakoid, right? This is thylakoid. Thylakoid is look like this. If you take this part, if you zoom it, it will be look like this. This is your membrane of the lumen, membrane of the thylakoid. Here all the integral membrane proteins are located. Okay, and this is the lumen part, and this is your stroma part, chloroplast stroma part. Okay, remember initially here H positive will be more. Okay, here H positive will be more, and here H positive will be less. This is oxygen evolving complex, and proton is releasing into the lumen. What we have seen had seen there. Now water is splitting into oxygen. This oxygen will be coming out into the environment. Now electron is passing to photosystem 2. Photosystem 2, it's excited and it's giving the electron to plastoquinone. See, this is this one proton. They will take one proton and it's become reduced. And after reducing, it will give the one proton. It will release to the lumen, and electron to the cytochrome B cell, and it's become oxidized. So it can continue the process again. Now this cytochrome will take the electron and it will pass the electron to the plastocyanin. From plastocyanin to it is photosystem 1, and it is again excited and it will give it to the ferredoxin, and it will take one electron, one proton, and NADP positive. With the help of FNR, it will produce NADPH. Now while passing the electrons, they will take one proton will pass from stroma to lumen. Okay, remember protons can pass the membrane easily, but it cannot pass the electron again back to the stroma. Okay, it is not allowed naturally. It is not allowed to pass the electron back to stroma. It is allowed to pass the electron by this integral membrane proteins, or they can pass easily, okay, to this lumen, but they were not allowed to pass to the stroma back. So what happens in this region, this lumen, the proton concentration becoming more. Okay, the proton concentration becoming more, and as the cycle is running, the proton concentration is decreasing. Okay, now what happens, there is a difference between this proton ion concentration, right? And we know that proton ion concentration determines the acidic nature. So this part is becoming acidic. So here the electrochemical potential is becoming more. This is highly electrochemical potential because of H positive, and here it is less electrochemical potential because of this less number of proton ion concentration. Now what happens, this proton need to pass to this stroma. Okay, it need to come back here. Neither it will not be balanced. It is acidic condition is not good for any organelles or any cell. So these protons will only pass through this ATP synthase complex. Okay, this is a channel like proteins which allow these protons to pass from lumen to the stroma. Now, and how it works, It works because of this proton ion concentration force. This is known as proton motive force. These protons gives a force this ATP synthase complex while passing from here to stroma. In this force will help this ATP synthase to bind ADP to inorganic phosphate and it produce ATP molecule. While passing these protons, they will generate one force that is known as proton motive force. And because of this proton motive force, this ATP synthase complex will produce one ATP by adding one ADP with one inorganic phosphate, and they will produce ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. So this is our thing, nothing but your photophosphorylation process. Your see one less energy component is adding with one inorganic phosphate and becoming one more energy containing component. This is known as adenosine triphosphate highly energetic compound. Okay, or you can say molecule. So this is your phosphorylation process, and this is how protons is coming from stroma to lumen and lumen to stroma. Okay, see this is nothing but your phosphorylation process where ADP and inorganic phosphate is adding and producing one ATP, that's a phosphate containing molecule, and light is helping for driving the force because H positive is coming to lumen, and while passing they're generating one proton motive force and they are producing ATP. So together they are known as photophosphorylation, and because it is happening in non-cyclic way, this is known as non-cyclic photophosphorylation process. So I hope this is clear for non-cyclic photophosphorylation pathway. ATP synthase and cyclic photophosphorylation we'll see in the next lecture. So till now, like I hope it's helped you. So thank you for watching the lecture. Please subscribe the channel. Okay, thank you.